It kind of, I wouldn't say it came out of nowhere because both of you guys had sort of addressed the possibility of it, but how
Yeah.
did this fight come together?
I mean, it just kind of came together because I I had the fight with Allen, I did the fight with Korean, and then they wanted to go. They went a different way with the 145 title shot, and then at the time, Charles was booked to fight Islam. I was just being like, hey, Gaethje, if you don't want to wait around, we could do one. We could do one for the fans, and JC Gaethje being the BMF that he is, ended up taking the fight. We're on UFC 300, huge card, the huge card that's going to be all year, I believe, for this year. And we're here now, and I get to share the octagon with a legend, with a guy who's not only a legend at the 155 division in all of mixed martial arts, a future Hall of Famer, and I get to mix it up with him, and I think the fans are in for a treat for this one.
Did you expect him to accept it, or are you kind of throwing it out there thinking like, eh?
I just was kind of throwing it out there, because I know how someone like him he loves to fight. That guy really loves to fight. He was put on a start to fight, so I feel the same way as him. I just threw it out there, and I just thought it was crazy when they announced Islam versus well, not Islam, when Charles versus someone else on 300, and then I was like, oh man, we're probably definitely not gonna get it now. And then the next fight was me and him announced, which was kind of like, wow, we got it, we did it, and that just proves to Justin Gaethje and why he's the rightful owner of the BMF Belt right now. The guy's a bad mother sucker, and I'm excited for this.
You have a good relationship with your fans, of course, and I know that when you're live streaming, you don't really talk too much about fights. But what was it? What is like the fan reaction been like as far as what you've received? What have the fans been saying about this fight since it was announced?
Oh, they love it, man. A lot of people love it. A lot of when it was like when I first threw out the tweet in October, a lot of people was going crazy. Of course, there's some naysayers saying of what happened because of the last time I went to 55 with the Poirier fight, the second one, and it is what it is. That's such a difference. That's so years. That was so many years ago. We're attacking this time way more smart than what it is. No excuses for that last time. I'm not making no excuses. But I have 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, of just being a grown up, being smart, and doing things the right way now. So at the end of the day, I just can't wait. There's always going to be naysayers. This sport, you only as good as your last fight. So I go out there, do my thing at UFC 300, and been doing what I've been doing my whole career. Just proving the naysayers wrong.
The Poirier fight where you went up a couple times. I have a specific question about what might be different, but I want to ask generally to you, what is the biggest difference between how you're approaching this one and the last one?
I think me personally I was just a big 45er going up to that one. This one, my eating habits, my nutritionist, my wife is keeping me in check. Doing a little bit stuff different, just having the IQ of going out there and feeling what it was for that first one is great. So I think so. You guys are gonna see a proper sized person for this one, especially against Gaethje. So I'm excited. The main thing is just the size. I feel like I was just a big 45er. You know what I mean? And I hate using excuses. Everybody asked me the question. That was like a long time ago, a couple years ago, and I was just a big 45er. I believe in now, and then I think in this one you guys get to see a difference. So if you guys want to see the difference, tune in April 13, and I shall show you guys.
How did you feel it the most against in the Poirier fight? Was it just like when you kind of locked up physically, or was it power? Like was it just overall like kind of just like sturdiness? How you felt? I mean, how did you feel smaller?
I just, I mean, you can just look at me. I mean, go back in that fight and go look at me, Brett. Like, pull a picture up for whenever you put this event or whatever. Even use that as your thumbnail for this video, brother. I think I had love handles or something. People tease me all the time for that fight. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Power or whatever. Like, of course, Dustin had more power in that fight. It showed probably in the first round the most, but you know, a lot of people is gonna talk. They're gonna talk the talk, but they just remember watching the highlight of the fight. Go really rewatch that fight and go tell me what you saw. Because at the end of the day, it was a fun fight. I don't regret nothing about it. And the better man won that night in Poirier, and that's what it was.
It would stand to reason that you would take his spot and that maybe you would just stay at 155. Is there a possibility that maybe this is just the end of Max Holloway as a featherweight and you're 155er now?
Nah, man, nah. First things first is Justin Gaethje. That's on my mind. I'm not thinking what's gonna happen after. If everything goes great and what comes with that. Like I said early in the interview, it's just options, man. Having options. I really want that 45 title back. I really want that 45 title back. I'll go back for it, whoever it is, and I'll give him my title shot. I'll go back there and get it. And then if I open up shots in 55, then why not? If I'm on both, why not, bro? If we're doing it the smart way, the right way, and I'm able to compete at both divisions, why not do it? That's what true BMF guys do. So
Hmm.
I'm excited for it.
Do you even see it as that big of a risk to 145? Because like even if for some reason, and I know you guys don't think this way, but even if for some reason it didn't go your way, I think Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway would still be a great fight. And just because you happen to move up, do you feel like it would kind of like maybe you're not taking the risk that some other people might say you are?
I mean, a lot of people. That's what I say. Because a lot of people say like if everything happens, and Gaethje defends whatever, then I can just always go back down. But like it's a risk, bro. It's a risk fighting the highlight. It's a risk. Name one time that someone came out of a Justin Gaethje fight unscathed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So at the end of the day, this is a huge fight. The guy is dangerous everywhere, and I'm excited. These are the kind of fights that just like intrigues me, gets me happy. It gets me like when I don't want to get up, I think about who I'm fighting. I'm like, brother, you need to get to this gym now. Because this guy ain't sleeping. So at the end of the day, I'm excited, man. This is one of the fights that really gets me going.
Can you tell me, because you mentioned it in the interview you did with Ramondi, and I apologize if this is like a story that people know, but I never heard of this before. So, in like, you had a fight at the Pepsi Center, and
Mhm.
he was the one driving you around during fight week, or
Yeah,
what? Like, what?
yeah. So that was the first time ever in yeah, I guess people don't know, but that's why he's so cool and stuff. But I guess people really didn't know. But yeah, Justin, like we had it all set up because you go out early, right, to Denver. Because I didn't know what altitude was, but my coach was like, bro, you gotta get out there early, whatever, whatever. And at the time we got set up, we got good, and everything that we got set up with fell out. And it got Gaethje actually for a couple of days, like took us like drove us around when we needed to go to certain places like to our hotel to the gym because we was training at the gym and he dropped us off a few times. So he was a cool dude, bro. That was before he was in the PFL. He just was like telling us that he wanted to be a pro, and he was pretty much in his car with his dog and everything in it, and it's an amazing story, bro. I don't know. Now we're here fighting in the UFC for the most craziest title there ever is in the UFC. So I'm excited. I'm glad we crossed paths at that time, and to see to see both our careers fruition to what it is just amazing. And being able to, like I said, step in the octagon with this man is it means a lot.
How
So
did you and Justin even like get linked up that time? Like, how did he know that
it,
you needed a
he
ride?
was just he was just at the gym and he asked us he's like, hey, you need to go someplace because he saw we was looking for a ride and he's like, oh yeah, I'll drop you off, no biggie. Guy jumped in his car, made room in his car, dropped us off at the hotel we was staying. So cool dude, bro. Justin's a cool dude, bro. He's
I
a
mean,
real one.
that's awesome. I love that. There's another story that I do know of, but I guess and I think like longtime MMA fans will know about it. And you mentioned it in your Ramondi interview too. And I actually wouldn't bring it up, but you did mention it in the Ramondi interview, and that is that this guy did expose you on the scale
Oh
in
yeah, bro.
2018.
Yeah,
For
bro.
people who don't know that story and don't know what you're talking about, because that was actually one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was at
yeah,
your
yeah,
expense. It was at
yeah.
your expense, but it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen
Brother,
come.
I told him, brother. Hey, I told him, and he even told me, he's like, brother, it just looked like you wanted to get off the scale, so I just threw the toe over. I was like, bro, you did the right thing, but I'm not gonna forget that, Gaethje. I guess that's the whole beef. I guess that's the way to set this fight. Like me and him had beef. What is that? That's a towel gate, right? We can call it a towel gate. Gaethje and Holloway's towel gates incident. So it's super funny, And, bro, and I totally told him. That's the one I was covering. I was like, he's like, bro, I'm going right over. He looked at me and was like, I'm going right over. I was like, yeah, go right over, bro. And he did it. So shout out to him, bro. He got me off the scale sooner than later.
For those that don't know, Max was on the scale. He was forced to take everything off because he needed every little bit of his weight. And Justin, for whatever reason, this was before the hoop came about, which was desperately needed. And this was when the two people just held the towel, and Justin was going to weigh in next. Uh, Stood
He
in
grabbed
front,
the towel.
grabbed it. No one even asked him to do it. He volunteered for this job, and then moves the towel, but in front of like the actual scale. So it's Max scale towel. And then for some reason, Justin decided that the towel would be better if it was in front of
No,
Max
no,
and in
yeah.
between the scale and Max. So then he lifted it over, therefore completely ruined,
Yeah.
like negating the whole reason that the towel existed because he lifted it over your head.
No, yeah, no, it was funny because they thought no, that the commission was the other side, and the commission told him, "Oh, you can't hold the towel in front of the scale because we can't see the weight." So
Okay, so
they
they
was like,
told him that.
"Oh, okay. So you want to go over?" And then Gaethje looks at me. You want me to go over? I was like, "Yeah." And he lifts it over. So it was funny because they would have to wait till I put on my underwear, drop the towel, go back on, take off my underwear, and then hold the towel again. So he
we just
saved
got,
me. He saved me quite a bit of time to go get rehydrated.
we just got it done. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, that's fun, man. I think that's all the questions I have for you. The last thing I would ask you though is that you did when you said like Justin Gaethje is the kind of guy like I get up.
You want me to go over? I was like, yeah, and he lifts it over. So it was funny because they would have to wait till I put on my underwear, drop the towel, go back on, take off my underwear, and then hold the towel again. So he
we just
saved
got,
me. He saved me quite a bit of time to go get rehydrated.
we just got it done. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, that's fun, man. I think that's all the questions I have for you. The last thing I would ask you though is that you did when you said like Justin Gaethje is the kind of guy like I get up, and I don't want to get out of bed and the training's hard and I'm like, oh man, I got to go to the gym because I'm fighting Justin Gaethje. Is that just getting more tougher? And I'm sure.